Well, not a single opinion poll has yet found a majority for yes, a majority for independence. And so from that perspective, you'd have to say that very little has actually changed in the course of the last 2 years, or since the SNP won their majority at Holyrood in 2011. There has never been a majority in favour of independence since the campaign began, at least as measured by opinion polls. Now, of course, that might change on the day of voting, but you would have to conclude, if you're looking at the state of play honestly and objectively, and not from the position of someone who's involved with either campaign and is determined to find the silver lining or put the best case or the best spin on something from the perspective of either campaign. If you're looking at it dispassionately and so on, you have to say that the odds continue to favour a no vote, and that actually, although there's been a slight uptick in yes support, that was really apparent in the early months of this year, or dating from, say, last November through to the end of March, end of April this year. But in the last couple of months, that has sort of plateaued and flatlined, if you like. And, it is hard to see that the yes side are actually making inroads at present. That doesn't mean they can't between now and referendum day, of course. But at present, you would say that it is likely to be a no vote, and a no vote probably of, say, 55-45, perhaps a little higher than that. At the moment, you wouldn't think that it's going to be desperately close. At the moment, it looks as though it would be a reasonably comfortable unionist victory, albeit not the sort of landslide, 65-35, 70-30 type result that would put the issue to bed for really quite a significant length of time. I think it'll be close enough that we'll be revisiting this issue sooner rather than later. Well, again, I'm not sure that it really has, because there haven't been any new arguments made by either side, really. All the arguments in favour of independence are arguments that the SNP has been making for at least 25 years. All the arguments against independence are also equally familiar. Neither side has really managed to inject anything surprising, I think, to the campaign. There's been no left field event or hitherto unexamined but actually quite persuasive theory put forward. Again, it's the thing we've been arguing about for so long. This was a campaign that began with probably 70%, perhaps even slightly more than that. 70% of voters had made up their mind before the campaign began. And a lot of what has happened is yes voters are even more determined to vote yes than they were at the beginning of the campaign. And equally, a large number of no voters are even more determined to vote no than they were at the beginning of the campaign. The whole thing has been a massive exercise in confirmation bias, if you like, that everybody sees what they want to see in the campaign, and it confirms their pre-existing prejudices. And in that sense, the landscape hasn't really changed very much at all. But the two camps have drifted further apart, if you like. The middle ground is much less populated than it was perhaps a couple of years ago, because although people can see there are lots of shades of opinion, obviously, between give me liberty or give me death type clarion call for independence, and the not on my life type no thing. There are a lot of people who have a certain ambivalence about the idea of independence or about the idea of the union. A certain there are lots of shades of grey, if you like, between the black of a yes vote and the white of a no vote. But when it comes down to it, in the end, people are going to have to choose to be black or to be white. The sort of nuances of and gradations of public opinion will be lost in the end, and actually have been lost in many ways in the campaign as a whole.